in here that you pan by gold by leveling the dirt here. Don't fill it up. Number one, put the dirt to here, and then tap it a little bit. Don't be afraid of tapping it. Then when you wash it out, the gold will settle. It'll wash it out like this here. Then, as you get down to the earth, you haven't found gold yet. When it gets down low, you want to start motioning at it, one way or the other, left hand or right hand. It depends on you if you're comfortable. That's the idea. Then you will find gold as you work. If you don't find it, then try again. You just repeat the operation.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about the different pans you have and the different...
Yes, the different pans, yeah.
How would you...
This is a beginner's pan.
Okay.
Now, it is, how would you say, a person would talk to you, ask you about a pan, and you tell him this is a very cheap pan, it's inexpensive, and he should read a book before he does anything. I advise anybody to read a book, learn what it's all about, then go ahead and start panning. After he pans, then he wants a sluice. But if he wants another pan, and it's slower, but a sluice is faster.
Okay.
So then we come over to something like this here. He'd be looking for a pan in this order, and that way he could find more gold with it, and it wouldn't be so slow. Okay. The idea is to sweep. You want a big floor. You don't want a small floor. Yet, this pan has the ridge in it that you really want to get. Now, the other one that we're talking about is this here. Now, that's a wider floor, and you can work much easier with it. And so, therefore, you're going to get more gold out of this pan than you will out of this one. It won't stop it down the bottom like you'd like to, but you get the fine gold. You get the fine gold by using it on this at this point. If you're gonna pan and you got fine stuff, you're gonna catch it in here on that rough edge. And the smooth edge just goes out. But this edge here will catch it, and that will catch it. And then if you're looking for nuggets, you're gonna find nuggets. You're gonna find them here, and you'll find them there. And you will not find them here. You will not find them there. You can take those and just cut them out if you had to. And you'd be better off with these two.
Okay, why don't you take that pan and explain each feature about the pan. Mm-hmm. In other words, I see on that pan, I see that there is a center bottom part, and that has a name, and there's a...
That's the floor.
Okay. So
and these are the ridges.
All right.
And the ridges are necessary. That one ridge is very necessary. This one right here, the first one. And then when you're panning for gold, you'll catch it there, or you'll catch it in the corners at the very bottom. Gold is heavy, you must realize, and it's 7 times as much as water, and therefore it's going to stay on the bottom. So as you pan it, as you're panning gold, the gold is down here and the earth is very low. Well, see, when it's high, initially you started here. Then you work the soil down and you keep working it down until you get all the dirt, until you get a little bit left. All right, then you wash it by taking a little bit of water and washing it like this here. Then you take it and you wash it this way. Either way, what is comfortable to you. There's no hardship in it.
Okay.
All right, now you have the floor area. This floor area is very important. And the ridge on the side here is very important, because that roughness is something that you want to get.
Okay, this pan has roughness.
Yeah, that has a rough part right in here. And this is smooth. That just washes out. This catches it, catches the dust. There's a lot more dust than there is nuggets. And people don't realize that. As they're panning for gold, well, they're stupefied, or they don't listen. If they'd listen, they'd find the gold themselves. They can take soil right across the street and refine it and define it, and you'll find more gold by just taking your time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's again, this pan has the features of a rough area,
Yet it has the roughness in here to catch the gold.
a smooth
And
area.
this is a smooth area where it just slides out.
And the purpose of that is,
There's no purpose for this.
Okay.
The purpose, this is the one you want.
okay.
And the floor and the corner.
And then we have, I see, ridges.
Yeah, the ridges stop gold. Usually it hits here and it'll hit there. But up here it's almost stopped already. The gold is stopped here. These are very seldom used. These are very seldom used, very seldom. And when people understand that, they'll start working their earth down, taking it and making it go to the bottom by tapping a little bit and finding out how much earth is in it. If any gold at all, it will happen down here and happen there.
Okay. Is there any number of ridges that's particularly important when selecting a pan? Should you look for a particular number of ridges?
Well, you're not looking for just a number of ridges. You're looking for one that has this here. If you can see this here. See that ridge? It's concaved and it goes in. And that stops everything. This here means nothing. That means nothing. Gold is heavy. You're not going to get it up here. You're going to get it all here and here. So that's it.
Okay.
This is a little more expensive. This will take a certain amount of gold. This will take a lot more gold.
So the difference in the
Yeah.
pans would be what? How fast you work?
That's how fast you work. It limits you to your work. This will limit you to how fast you can go.
Okay.
This will help you a little more. There's another pan. Now you could get an old-time pan, which is metal pan, and it has the ridge on the bottom. That's very important. This means nothing up here, actually. It's what you can trap, but usually they're working for a small gold. Small gold will happen down here, and that's it. You can make soup in that, you can shave in it, you can do anything you wish with a metal pan, but you can't do it with a plastic pan, because a plastic pan, it'll burn. That's all there's to it. So when you look at a metal pan, it'll last you almost indefinitely. A plastic pan will last you maybe 1 year, and then that's all. Cold weather will cause them to snap. You drop one and it'll break. Now you can drop that today, it don't hurt it. Cold weather, they'll break.
Okay. Which is better for getting the gold out of the river, the plastic or the metal?
The plastic works about the best. Yeah, the pan is good, there's no question. The pan is the old-time pan. I have a pan, I told you before, it's 1860. Well, it came over in the covered wagon when the Indians were here, but it's not for sale.
Okay. How about the color of the pan? Now,
Color of the pan makes no difference at all.
Okay.
Black or green. Green shows up very nicely, and black shows up very nicely, very prominent.
yeah. Now, I noticed myself that with the black pan, it hid the black dirt. I couldn't see when I had black dirt. With the green pan, it shows up the black as well.
Yeah,
Is
well,
that important?
No, the black is no good to you at all. The black sand, that's what you're looking for. When you get black sand, you want to keep dumping it into a barrel. As you dump it into a barrel, you collect it. Then when you get enough of it, you want to pulverize it, clean it, or acid. And when you take acid, you eat the molecules around the gold, and therefore you get the gold.
So the black sand, it is important then to know when
Yeah.
you have black sand.
Well, yes.
So the green pan could help you a little bit
It helps you a lot.
with finding black.
Right.
Okay. Any other pans that are different that you might want to talk
No, there's not much. Oh, here's something that every man should have. He should have a grader, and that grades the sand and the rocks. It distributes what you have in there between the fine stuff you're dropping out and the stuff you're getting here. You may find rocks, you may find jewels, and that's very, very good, because people think they're just finding gold. Well, there's such a thing as a diamond now and then, but opals, rubies, sapphires, you may find them in here. Now, if you get a rock, and if it's translucent, that's the idea. That becomes a precious stone, because most stones that are translucent are not transparent. so you can't see through them. But there are other stones you can't see through them that are valuable too. They make artifacts out of them. They make necklaces. They make rings out of them. They make, oh, just about anything.
Okay. I notice you have some larger sized sieves.
Well, they work for these sieves here. Now these are graders. You're grading one thickness of sand in here. Not this. Amount of sand. But see the smaller mesh? The smaller mesh will lighten you to pick up finer gold. And they will not go through there. You may have some dirt that has, you take dirt, now for instance, and you want to grade it, all right? You take all the screens you can get. There are different models. I don't have enough of them here on hand, but they have number 4 down to number 8, and they're all different. They're 50 mesh, 20 mesh, 30 mesh, and number 4 mesh. You get them all. And you can take a shovel full of dirt and put it in one, and it'll grade right to the bottom, and they will be graded.
Okay. And what does that mean, graded?
Graded in different segments. In other words, you're finding gold that's heavy, you're finding gold that's very light, but they're all separated.
After you've separated it, what do you do with it? Do you pan it?
That's right, you pan it. But every one may have gold in it. You have flake gold, you have nugget gold, you have dust gold. So every bit of gold that you're finding in the area, you'll find it in the screen.
Okay. All right, we've talked about pans and screens, and those, I call them sieves. What did you call it? A grater?
A sieve.
Okay.
It's a sieve is what it is. Yes.
Okay. Let's just get some rough prices on what these cost.
Oh, you want to know the cost? The
Sure.
cost. Here's a 14-incher. Sells for $8.95.
Okay.
Now we have another one. It's in black, and it's hardly any difference at all. All it has is a steep ridge. Sells for $8.95.
And the difference there is,
Not much, just has a ridge.
and it doesn't seem to have the rough.
No, it don't have the roughness. It's just for panning. That's strictly panning. When you're segregating dirt and black like that screen, that sieve rather, well, you take the sieve and you thin it out. Well, then you use one of these pans to go again. You can go again and wash it out. And that's it.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, here's a pan. It's a metal pan. It has the lower edge, but it's still a good pan. It sells for $8.95. Same thing. This here one sells for $5.95, which you can put onto a 12-inch bucket and stack all your dirt in the bucket graded. When you do that, you can go home and take your time. Patience is a virtue of everything. If you're ever going to look for gold, you got to have patience. That's right.
And how much is that?
Well, that's $5.95. This is a little pan, that sells for $5.95 also.
Okay.
So that's a very good little pan. Then I had some other ones for $4 and $3.95 and like that.
Now, does every prospector need a pan ultimately?
Oh,
Even
yes.
if you use other methods?
Even if you use any equipment. First of all, if you're going to go out and find gold, you can do that with a metal detector, or you can do it with a pan, either one, or a sluice. Now, a sluice.
Now, by all means, feel free to stop for customers, okay? Okay.
Now, here we have a multi of sluices. We have a large sluice here that sells for $99.50.
Now, why would someone decide they wanted a sluice?
Well, it pans the gold out a lot faster.
About how much faster?
Oh, I'd say about 10 times faster. You can do a lot of work with a sluice.
Okay.
Now, you have medium sizes, you have the large sizes, we have the little sizes, and by laying this at 11 degrees in the water, now depending, if you set it in the water an inch, now you can take that and regulate it by, if it's too strong and it's washing the gold out, then pull up on it a little bit. Then if you want to, you can lower it a little bit if you need more power. It all depends on you, what you're doing by lifting it and lowering it. But start off at 11 degrees.
Okay, and which end goes toward the uphill of the river?
This part is up the river. And as the gold goes in here, you put the dirt here, it washes it down here. Well, you might get dust, you might get flake, you might get nuggets, and so forth, same thing. Then you loosen this, and repeatedly, you take this apart, if I can take it apart. You loosen it by taking it apart, rolling the rug, dip it in a 5-gallon bucket, washing it out, and then you'll find more dust in there. So gold comes in every little particle there is.
And that's a piece of rug.
That's a piece of rug, yeah. Then you repeat the action. You do this about every 2 hours.
Which kind of gold prospector would need a bucket? Does a panner need a bucket or a sluicer?
Everyone. Everyone needs a bucket.
Okay,
Everyone.
a bucket's an important tool.
Very sad.
How much is a bucket?
The buckets will run you $3.
Okay, now, if I decide that I'm not getting enough gold with a sluice. Okay, well, let me first ask you, when I've finished sluicing, is there another step to actually get my gold and collect it?
Oh, yes, there is. You start looking for a dredge. Now, you don't want a dredge. Dredges are costly.
Well, how about just can I collect my gold right off my sluice, or do I then go to a panning step?
Oh, no, you can, as you're taking the gold off of here, you're going to pick all the raw gold right from there. As you get towards the end, you'll have a lot of tailings. Well, you want to pick those tailings up and put them in a pan and do this same thing all over again. And when you do that, you'll find more gold.
Okay, so a second step after the sluice is the pan again.
That's right.
And
then you step over here to one of these here. Now, the one of the dredges.
this is called a dredge.
This is the dredge, yeah. This is our newest one we have out. This has a 2.5 power motor with it's called a Tonka. And then we have the aluminum pontoons on both. It's streamlined. It weighs about 48 pounds. Anybody can handle it.
What do the pontoons do?
The pontoons cause it to float. That's very essential. They usually have a tube, but the tubes have been proven very unsatisfactory due to the fact that a lot of them have been punctured and things like that.
Okay. And what does a dredge do?
Well, you want to dig a hole. That's what it does. It'll dig a hole down for you. Maybe, now the 2-inch one will dig, say about, just a second. And it's a 2-horsepower engine. Part of the paper's gone. It has a sluice box that's 10 by 30. Now that's the one that's on the tube. That's the one that's up over here. And that's a suction hose, 2 by 10. A pressure hose, 1.5 by 12. There's a pressure hose, PJ 1.4 by 2.5. Then there's a fuel consumption is 5 hours per gallon. And flotation is 43 by 828. Then we have a pumping capacity is a P90, and the P90 will deliver 1.5, 90 gallons a minute. So that's what we're looking at for ABC, that you know how many holes you can dig. It also will pump out. It's about a yard an hour.
Okay. Now, could you explain what a dredge consists of? It looks to me like it's a sluice box with a motorized mechanism for pulling mud up and
That's exactly
from
what
a
it
river,
is, yes,
and you
right.
use it in a river.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Use it in a river, and when you're using it, you have the grader, your screen down here, and that screen is very important because it'll break up all the gold and deliver the sand. That's what you're looking for, sand, and you get that all in here. And you pick up the flake here, then you get the nuggets, and the nuggets, and the nuggets, and so on. And this has moss on it, on the bed. Now, that moss is a good catcher. It catches quite a bit.
Okay. What are the parts of a dredge?
Just a second. You gonna be here for a while?
I'll be here all day.
Okay, because I'm gonna come back and talk to you in about an hour. I gotta go see you.
Okay.
Be back shortly.
Okay.
Why don't we just break the dredge into its components and just quickly describe what we have, what it consists of?
Well, first of all, this is the power hose. This one delivers the water to the siphon, and that will cause it to have power. And you can only have power as this nozzle. Now, this nozzle here comes in the power hose, and this is the power here. As it does, it strikes in the happy medium right here, and then you're only sucking about 7 inches. Now, with the other one, with the straight tube, well, you're sucking up about 14 feet, and that means an awful lot of work on the engine. So this is a very good unit. And the motor is 2.5. You can regulate your speed. You don't need a lot of water. You can take your time, get the flow right, or you'll wash the gold out.
And then this part looks like a sluice box up here.
Yes, now wait, there's a 2-inch hose. I had it here somewhere. I don't even know where it is. You'll have to excuse me a few minutes. A sluice pan is a little better. It takes about 10 times as much dirt, and they can work faster. Then, after that, you want to calculate how much gold are you got? How much do you value which is in front of you? If you can find out how much is in front of you, you're in market for a dredge, if you have the right amount. Now, if you get somewhere there's $300 or $400 in it, you don't want a dredge. A dredge is made for a non-novice person who knows what he's doing. First thing I tell him, I says, get a book and read the book. Read it quietly, and read it again. After you read it once, read it twice. You might miss a few words. And so...
Okay, that was interesting. Again, how does someone know when they need a dredge?
Well, when you need a dredge is after you calculate how much gold is in front of you, and will it pay for it? You don't want to take money out of the pocket, number one. You want to find enough gold in front of you that you can dredge for it. If the ore says it's worth it, it's worth it. Then I'd step into a small dredge. I wouldn't go immediately into a 3 or a 4 or a 5 like that. I'd stay with a 2. The 2 is a one-man operation. It weighs 48 pounds, and anybody can carry it. I mean, a strong guy can carry it, and without getting tired, because you do get tired after a fashion. Then you need help, and that's what you don't want. With a 3-inch, you're underwater, you got air, you got the motor, you got the sluice box, and it does the world of good.
Okay, what now, when you say 3-inch, 2-inch, what does that refer to?
This is 2-inch means the nozzle. Like the hose, like this hose here, is 2 inches. And that 2-inch goes on this here. And the 3-inch, this is made for a 3-inch, minus the sluice box. And it does very good. Either one will work.
If you have a dredge, how would you rate the amount that you could collect with a dredge versus a sluice box?
Oh, about 30 times as much.
30 times as much?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It would pick up, you could dig a hole in a matter of a couple of hours. You can go down 9-10 feet. And that's what they want. They want to dig down.
Okay.
And they can't do that with a shovel, and shoveling it and panning it. They do there all day and night. But with a dredge, they can do it.
Okay. What other kind of equipment is part of prospecting for gold? I notice you have some metal detectors over there. How
Yes,
important is a metal detector?
Very important. when you're looking for a place, well, suppose you were in the river, found a piece of gold. First thing you do, measure 15 feet. Gold sometimes travels 20 feet, sometimes 15 feet. Then when it has residue on it, it will travel 20. Now, not much over that, very seldom. Gold, then you measure 28 feet up the bank. From that point of 15 feet, you go up 28 foot. Then you come forward 3 foot to allow for the 20 foot instead of the 15. You measure back 10 foot. Then you come up 28 feet again and you stop right there. You cross the line and you start drilling holes right after another. Not one here and one over there and one over here, because you're just guessing. But by taking the hole 1 inch to 5 feet, one after another, you're going to find gold. You're going to find out where that gold that you saw in the river, where it came from. It came in that area.
Okay. Can we take a look at some of your metal detectors and see what we have?
Oh, sure. Now here's one. This one sells for $230. Oh, I see. I got the light up. Yeah, let's see. It goes. Yeah, that's bad. Now this is called a Fisher. It's a Fisher metal detector. They have whites, they have Garretts, and they're all good. They're all good. It depends where you want to get them serviced. By using a Fisher, I can go to Los Banos, which is very close to me, and therefore I can have it repaired and back in my hands in 2 or 3 days, where otherwise I'd have to send 2 or 3 weeks if I sent it to Oregon, if I sent it to Texas and places like that. They would not be good for me. That's all there is to it. Now this will find gold. It will also find many other metals. It accumulates a lot of metals. In fact, you can go down the street and pick up bobby socks or needle, what do you call them? These finger thimbles, yeah. You can pick up those thimbles, nails, bottle caps, and so forth.
Is there a difference in these models?
Yes,
in terms of
there
how
is.
they perform?
Yeah. Now this is called the gold bug. The gold bug is a different animal. It's very neatly built, got a discriminator in it. Automatically, when you turn it on, it's in motion. Now, if you had to run on motion, you'd flip the switch on motion or no motion. That is the main thing. The first thing you should do is read the book. By reading the book, you'll know what you're doing. Nobody can tell you how to run a machine unless that he's noted that he can talk to you. If he can talk to you, he can explain everything to you. Therefore, we have some wonderful engineers down in Los Banos that are very likely to help you every time if you need any problem. But by reading the book, you will know what to do.
Okay. How is the gold bug different from...
The gold bug gives off a different sound other than, for nails, it's one sound. For gold, it's another sound. For silver, it's another sound.
So that's what you mean by discriminator?
That's
it discriminates between the metals?
Discrimination between bottle caps. You don't pick up bottle caps.
Is there a difference in sensitivity or depth between these?
Not so much, no.
Okay, how much are these
Sells for $4.95.
Okay.
Now, the white, it sells for a lot more. And the the Garrett sells for a lot more. And therefore, this is a cheaper brand, but a better brand.
Now, are these used only on dry land or also in water?
No, they're used in water.
In water.
They use the water up to there, right up to the meter. And then we have another machine that travels underwater. You have no trouble whatsoever.
Okay. Are there any other models that you...
Oh yes, there's several models. You have one type here, you got 1212, you got this here, the ZZ6, you got the 1265. They're all different models and different prices. And Fisher has has a load of prices, and they give you a sheet. They give you a sheet listing the prices and any options that you may need, earphones or whatever, the cases or sacks or other foots. You find them in here.
Okay.
Okay.
If someone came up and wanted to pick one of these metal detectors, what would you recommend?
I'd recommend the gold bug, if that's what they're looking for, gold. But if they're not looking for gold and just about anything, then use one of the others. They're good for beaches and mountains, and they're good for any place.
Okay. All right. You once said that you actually invent some gold prospecting equipment yourself. Can you,
Yes, I did.
what kind
yeah.
of things have you done?
Well, I built a dredge. I have it in the back, and the patent is not yet legal. It have a copyright on it, and it defines the gold very easily. It picks up a lot of dust, and it picks up the nuggets also. It's a washer that's a little bit different than the ordinary. As the water goes in, it pre-washes the dirt, and it washes it again on the bottom. Then it has a well that comes up in the back, and the well pours the water into it and flows it out at a certain speed, not flooding the tube. Then it has the water on the inside with a pipe, and it twirls the water. It twirls it over. So when you get a lot of clay or heavy soil, it'll break it up, and that's what it's made for. It's made to collect dust,
Okay.
and mostly.
So if people came to you, they might find equipment that they couldn't find anywhere else. Is that
Yes, that's
correct?
true. Very true.
Okay.
We try to keep everything in stock.
Yeah, I see you have a tremendous variety in your store here. In that corner over there, I see lots of what looks like brass fittings
that's nozzles. Those are jet tubes
for the
for the dredges.
dredges.
All sizes, from 2 to 6.
And I also see some wetsuits over there.
Yes.
Is that standard equipment for people
Oh, yes,
to
it
dredge?
is. Yes, it is.
The waters are pretty cold up
Yes,
here.
when you dive, you need something to protect you. You need it mostly to cover your body anyhow, because if you don't cover your body, you're liable to be injured.
So dredging is an
It's an
underwater
art.
type
It's,
of
it's an
activity.
art of its own. Yes, and we have the compressors and so forth.
Now, I see one very interesting looking device over there, a gold screw wheel.
Oh yes, that's this is the gold wheel. Now this here will take a bunch of ore, and it will find it by feeding a spoonful at a time, and you set the water pressure, you set the angle accordingly to whatever gold you're finding. You do that by experimentation, by reusing this here and turning this here. All right, then the dirt will go here. It will climb up like this here. When it gets about there, it should change into gold. Gold should be coming in these 3 places and going in the hole and into a bucket. If it doesn't, it won't work.
That's who invented that, and where did
That's
that come
been
from?
invented by Keen Industries. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you could just point out a couple of books that you think are very essential to anyone starting out.
Well, I have several books right here. This book is a very good book, How to Find Gold. It'll tell you how to file a plan for a claim and so forth, weights of gold and everything like that. This will also instruct you how to find gold, and it takes its time. Read it slowly, read it twice to make sure you haven't missed any words. Then there's one book I don't have, and that's Dredging for Gold. That's a very good book. It tells you how to read the river,
Okay.
and how to find out about the pockets, how to find out about the crevices, how about finding the cracks. These are all essential. People look for gold, they usually look on the top. Gold is at the bottom, always. You have to dig down from an inch to inevitable. It can go clean to the bottom. But when you hit rock bottom, that stops. Then you find the crevices. You find the cracks. Now, if there's any moss in the water, if you find any moss, you should collect the moss, put it away, take it home, dry it out. When it dries out, burn it. Usually you find gold in it. So that, people don't realize that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can people call you and contact you and order equipment?
Yes, they can.
Why don't you just say out loud your mailing address and your phone number so anybody could contact you?
Yes. Now, here's my address in Jamestown.
Try and zoom in on it. Okay, I think I'm reading that 18169 Main Street, Jamestown, California, 95327. And the phone numbers are...
No, 1 minute. The box number is very important. 303.
Okay, box 303.
Right.
Okay. And
Jamestown, California.
and this is Nicholas Skuse.
Nicholas Skuse
And the phone number to contact them is
is
209
984-3893.
Okay. So that was 209-984-3893. And you can supply people with just about anything?
Just about anything they wish.
Okay. Do you have a catalog that you...
No, I don't have them on hand written right now. I will have them in about a week.
Okay.
I will have them here.
So then people can call you
Yes,
and
they
you can
can.
send them a catalog?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am Nick Skuse, and I have my shop here on Main Street in Jamestown at 16195, box 303. I got in the business a long time ago that when I had nothing else to do, to tell you the truth, I had absolutely nothing to do, and I got interested in it and started to find gold. That's been 20 some odd years ago. Now, the rest is up to you.